This conference will now be recorded.
Hmm. In the previous class, we have discussed on uh, components, like what are the components of the Splunk and architecture. So this video is available in the YouTube. So I have explained clearly like what is the universal forwarder. Universal forwarder is something like it is an agent which we will install on the source system from where we want to fetch the logs. Okay. And here there are two types of forwarders. One is the universal forwarder and the other is the heavy forwarder. So universal forwarder is basically from, from getting the data from the source systems. Okay, this is the source system which is my application server. Okay, so in order to get this data into the indexer, right, we will be installing um, this universal forwarder into it. Okay, and there is something called a heavy forwarder. So heavy forwarder is something like if you want to manipulate the data, universal forwarder brings all the logs that are present in the application server. Okay, so let us assume like if you want to fetch only error logs, or if you want to discard the error logs to the indexer. Okay, what we will do, right? We will introduce this heavy forwarder, and this heavy forwarder will take care of parsing the log files that are generated. So it can discard some text, or it can discard some pattern, or it can get only the data that is specified, okay, into the indexer. That is the need of the heavy forwarder. Indexer is something like indexer is a component which stores the data. Let us assume like we are having some 1,000 applications. Okay, so this universal forwarders will send the data to the indexer. So actually Splunk doesn't have any database as such, but it will be having it stores the data in the buckets. Buckets are nothing but the directories. Okay, and yeah, cluster master. So if you are having multiple cluster indexing nodes, indexers, I meant to say, like if you are having some 50 or 60 indexer nodes, in order to do any configuration on these nodes, we'll be using the cluster master. Like let us assume if I want to change some configuration in 10 of the 10 or 15 nodes, it is hard to do it manually in each and every node. That job can be accomplished by using this cluster master. Okay, and now universal forward is sending the data and it is getting stored in the indexer. So my next job, my data is present in the indexer in the bucket. Now I want to see the data. So there is one component called search head which will fetch the data and it helps us to retrieve. It will get the data from this indexer and show you. Okay, that is called as the search head. And for license manager is for applying the licenses, and deployer is used for applying the licenses in the search head. Okay, actually I have explained everything in the last class. Okay, you can go through like complete 1 hour I took what is the architecture, and it is just simple like the Splunk can monitor any data. It can be like it can be the data from servers, active directories, Windows, VMware machines, sensors, web servers. It can, and mainframes. It can monitor everything, and it can get the data and it can store it in the indexer. Okay, so there are multiple deployment models basically. So one is like stand on a standalone system. Okay, I can install Splunk where I will be installing only the indexer. Okay, I will be installing only the indexer, and this indexer will be having the search head as well. So like the indexer includes the search head, so there is no need to explicitly install this search head. So this can be used for POCs or practices purpose. So it is not suitable for the deployment of the applications in the projects or in the offices. Okay, just for practice or POCs, we can if you install the search head on one laptop, right, that should be fine. We'll be able to search the data and get the data into the Splunk indexer. In office, right, we'll be having something like a architecture where you will be having multiple search heads, multiple deployment servers, and multiple Splunk forwarders, and multiple search. Okay, this is one architecture. And there is one more model called Splunk Cloud, where Splunk itself provides a 15 days trial access to the SaaS application. Okay, normally if you have an email ID, you can register it, and you will be getting like AppDynamics, right? You will be getting 15 days trial license. After 15 days, uh, the license will be revoked. Okay, so
We need a server to install this Splunk. How can we install? Because I have just laptop. We can install in the laptop. I don't have any
yes,
server. I mean, is it the Windows server or Linux?
yeah, I will show you. Actually, the Splunk can be installed. It supports like Windows, Linux, and Mac. If you are having any of these three, right, you can install the a Splunk. And if you install, you will be getting it you will be getting the enterprise edition for 60 days.
Okay,
If you are
only
going for SaaS application, you will be having only 15 days. I will show you. It can be installed on a laptop, not an issue.
good.
Okay. First, we will go and see like how to go for these SaaS applications. I have to click on this free Splunk. Okay, I have to provide my details. Just stopping the screen share. I want to get some username and passwords. Mhm.
We cannot see your screen.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was see, accessing my mailbox, so I was copying my username and password, so I stopped the screen share. Okay, here, right, when it will ask whenever you are registering, it will ask two things, like whether you want to like download the software or you want the cloud trial of 15 days, like SaaS application. So what I am doing for now, right, I'm just clicking this cloud trial. Okay, it will be doing some validation. My username is vboot002. Yeah, now it will create one SaaS account on this vboot002 name. It will be sending some verification for which I will have to do some verification, I believe. So I will just stop the screen share for a second. Actually, I'm not getting this free Splunk access. I'm getting some error message saying like due to US export compliance requirements, Splunk has temporarily suspend the license. But if you register right with your names, I think it will work. Okay, I have one. Okay, maybe like I don't know why it is showing like this, but normally we'll get whenever you sign in, right? You will be given this Splunk like Splunk what to say SaaS application access. Okay,
Okay.
just try with your email IDs. I'm not sure like why it is showing this message for me, but not an issue. Like we will be installing the Splunk uh,
Maybe zip code is not
man.
right. Zip code have maybe problem.
Uh, okay, okay. So I will give some. Maybe you are correct, right? I have given some wrong pin code, but okay. We'll see that. I don't want to waste the time. I will configure that. I will show that tomorrow. First, we'll start with this installation. Okay.
Good.
Actually, I have one machine into cloud. I will try to log into that. So actually, there is one Splunk that already which is installed in this. Okay. So currently, what I will be doing, right? I will be stopping this server. Okay. I will stop. I will uninstall and I will install. Okay. For uninstallation, it is pretty simple. cd/opt. We have to. Are you able to see? Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. A little bit increase the desk, the font. Yeah, it's better. Thank you.
Okay. So there is already one Splunk which is running. You have to uninstall, right? What we have to do, right? CD. You have to go to the Splunk folder, Splunk/bin. I have to stop the Splunk. You have to use this command /Splunk stop. Once it is stopped, we have to come out of the directory. We have to go to the Splunk. Okay. So first, what I have to install something like Splunk Enterprise Edition. Then in Google, I have to type so now I am installing this Enterprise Linux, sorry, Enterprise Splunk. So it is available in Windows as well as the Linux as well as the Mac. So in Linux, right, it will like three types are eligible. Like first is Debian package. It can be installed on the Ubuntu if you are using some Linux, and it is just and the second one is the tar file where you have to extract and you have to start the Splunk and other supports like this RPM package. So like this is more suitable for like Red Hat Linux or Fedora or CentOS. These machine supports this one. Even though I'm installing on the CentOS machine, I'm going with this tar installation. Okay, I have clicked this download now. So it is installing here. So what I will do, right, I will stop. Okay, let it be. I will stop that. So actually, if you see right here, right, download via command line. Have you seen this option? If I click on this one, right, using wget, I can directly download the software into my Linux system. So I am removing my existing package. I don't have anything. So I will be copy pasting the command whatever I found here. Else it will be I have to download it my local system and from there I have to copy into this Linux system. So if I give this, if I copy paste this command directly, if you are installing on the VMware or whatever, you can straight away give this command and it will install this, it will download the Splunk package for you into that machine.
So just copy and paste, we can download on the server.
Exactly. On the system where you want to install, actually first I installed on, sorry, I downloaded my, I tried thought of downloading on my laptop and from there I have to copy it to my server, right? Instead of that, directly I can use this wget command and get this software installed or get this software downloaded into the server directly.
Yeah, you would say Splunk dash 8.05 or ALA 65. That's a file dash Linux 840. So from where you copy this, it is the download file, TCC.
Yes, 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 yes. So if when I clicked download now, right, I got two up, like one thing, right, it will directly downloading into your local, in your I mean like in your laptop. But here, right, useful tools, there is one section called useful tools where it will give a provision to download via wget. Basically wget is a Linux command where it will get the data. It is used for downloading some files. Okay,
Right.
here Splunk itself will provide you this command.
Okay. Hmm.
So let us assume like if you are using running on a VMware where you want to install your Splunk, right? First you have to download locally and using WinSCP or something, you have to copy it to your VMware, correct? Inst so instead of that, right, directly you can issue this command on your VMware. It will directly download that software directly. Okay.
Okay.
So first I have to untar this one. Okay. The command is star hyphen zxvf and Splunk. So basically what it will do, right, it will create a Splunk folder and under which you will have the Splunk Enterprise Edition. And this, if you install the Splunk like this, right, you will be getting some 60 days license. You can use the Splunk for 60 days.
So
If you are having
we should be expert in Linux, for
no need, no need,
no.
no need. Just we have, there are like 2-3 commands.
Okay. It is installing right now or untar the file.
Yes, exactly. It is getting un.
Tell us about Windows also, how to install in Windows.
Yeah, it is. I will go through that one. So Splunk. In Splunk directory, you will be having multiple folders. Okay, you have to go to the bin. All the executable and all the startup files or everything will be present in the bin. Okay, and the command would be like /splunk start hyphen accept hyphen. Okay, if I issue this command, it will ask for the username and password. This is basically the credentials which will be used for logging into the Splunk. Okay, if I am creating as admin and I am providing some password. Okay,
Mhm.
these credentials will be used for logging into the web console.
You type accept accept dash license, Vibhu. Dash
Yeah,
license.
yeah,
What is dash or dot? What is the dash?
dash. It is a command basically to accept the license.
Okay.
Splunk, yes, stop.
And then you put the password.
Yeah, it is a command to accept the okay
Right.
admin. Same thing. Now the Splunk is getting installed. Once the Splunk is installed, it will show, it will give you the basically the URL where which you want to log in. Okay, this is the URL which I have to use,
Which
and
one?
it runs on 8000 port.
This is docs.splunk.com.
Yes, yes, the last one.
Okay, HTTP docs. Docs.splunk.com.
No, no, no. I'm just copy pasted. I have copy pasted my URL, whatever it showed over here, right?
Hold on.
That's it. Like the Splunk is installed.
Okay.
Admin, and I'm giving the password.
Good.
So basically, we have to click this search and reporting. I'm not continue with the tool. This is the Splunk UI. Okay. Now my whatever the Splunk which I have installed, right, it is up and running, and I am able to access it. Hope it is. And let us assume, like, I will go to this one second. Yeah. In settings, there will be something called like indexes.
Indexes.
So as I mentioned earlier, right? Yeah, indexes. I will give you this one. Okay. So if you are having some multiple projects, right? Every project will have some index name. Okay. Let us assume like project one.
Project.
Here, this will create one directory.
Okay.
And if you have project two, the same thing will create one directory. Okay. In this Linux system, it will create one directory. By default, what happens, right? Splunk will have some default indexes. So I hear what I meant to say, right? Each project data will be stored in one directory. Each project will have one index, and that data will be stored in one directory. In the same way, by default, Splunk will be having some indexes. These are the system indexes. Okay. Underscore internal underscore audit or something, right? Currently, right, I will be using an internal index. That's why I showed you. Whenever you install a Splunk, there will be some indexes that will be automatically created.
So these are the internal machine indexes. So Vibhu, one thing before you go further, tell me in a simple word, I did database, but it's a long time in Oracle. So in the database, indexes is different, but here in the Splunk, indexes is a little bit wider, right? So what is the difference?
So I will tell you. Yeah. In DB, you will be having something called table.
Right.
Okay. And it will be having columns.
Yeah, I know.
And here, right, index will be applied on one particular column.
Yeah, particular column.
correct?
Yeah.
So in database, the terminology is like index is something which enhances the performance, right? So that will be applied on a column. Whereas in Splunk, it's a directory.
Oh.
So that's what I told. Here, project, if I create one index called project one directory will be created in the Splunk. I think. Okay, in the Splunk. Like tomorrow I will show you that like where the directory and all those will be created.
Right.
But ultimately, right, one directory. In Splunk terminology, index means one directory where it will store all the logs pertaining to that project. It can be from different multiple sources. Okay, like it is can be like a directory 1, directory 2, directory 3, something like that. That is the difference. In DB, it is applied to a column, whereas actually Splunk doesn't have any database to store. Okay, it won't use SQL on NoSQL. It will be storing everything in the buckets. Directory is called as like bucket. In Splunk terminology, we will call it as a bucket.
Good.
Whatever we okay, got it. So in the same fashion, right, Splunk will have some default index, some default indexes.
Right.
These are the system indexes. Whenever you install Splunk, you will be getting this one. Okay. So I will be so if I want to get the data from index, right? Index is equal to I have to give this one. So it will be fetching the all the data that is present in that particular directory or that is collected from multiple sources into the directory.
Vibhu, why we
Yeah,
write
please.
Vibhu, why we write the index is equal to on every search? Why?
Why? Because let us
Yeah,
assume like
equal to why?
yeah, I will tell you. So Splunk is not specific for one project. As I mentioned, let us assume like I am some like ABC company.
Mm-hmm.
So I am running some 20 projects. Okay. So if I put everything in one directory, if I put all the data pertaining to this per 20, 20 projects in one index, okay,
Hmm.
what is going to happen?
It will take
For
long time to search.
correct, it will take long time to retrieve the data and there will be a confusion like which log corresponds to which application. Correct, right?
Hmm.
So for project one, I may fetch if I give star unnecessarily, I'm putting overhead on the server. So for simplification, what we will do, right? We will organize in a proper fashion such that each project will be put in a different like directory. How you are in library, right? How will you organize your books? You will be organizing like novels in one book and something like if the books are related to some IT or Linux, right? You will be having Linux. If you are having in some other fictional movies or fictional stories, right? You will put in that in such fashion, right? In the same way, Splunk also organizes the data.
Right. Got
Clear?
it. Hmm.
So now I have 20 projects. If I want to get data from project one, so how I have to do? I have to explicitly call the logs for this particular project, right?
Right.
So that's why we'll use index is equal to project1. If I want to get the data from project2, I will explicitly call index equal to project2. Got it? That simplifies. When I give index, I'm calling only that particular data that is present in that particular bucket, which corresponds to that particular project. Clear?
Got.
So that's why we will be, that's why we have to prefix everything with an index. Now I am here. I have multiple indexes, right? I am fetching the data from only this particular index. And if there is something like this is called as this is a search bar where we will be writing our Splunk queries, and this is the time picker. So there are like multiple options to get the data you can fetch. There are three times, right? Real time, relative, and others. So others means all time. It will get the data whatever that is present in the Splunk. If you are running the Splunks for last 2 years or 3 years, right? If you give all time, right, it will give you the log events for all the duration. Okay. So
Right.
basically, whenever the Splunk gets the data, right, it will do two things. It will add a timestamp. Okay, it will add a timestamps to all the events. Okay, actually each log snippet is called as one event. One logging information is called as an event. This is how it looks in whenever an application runs, right? It will be generating different lines. Each line is called as an event. Okay.
Right.
And you can search the data for last 15 minutes. If you want to search data for last 4 hours or 7 days or last 30 days, we have to use these options relative to get this data. So here it will show you like how many events, like there are around like 4,861 events when I searched for last 30 days. When I searched for all time, it went to some 5,000.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
And for last 15 minutes,
Yeah. Then
5,004.
15-minute data.
Because yeah, because I have started the Splunk just now, right? I have installed the Splunk just now. Maybe if I do the same exercise tomorrow, you will get the difference. As this is a newly installed system, this overall time and like 10 minutes back or something, I have installed this Splunk, no? So there won't be much difference. But over the period of time, post our classes, right, you will see the events, like the change in the numbers. Got it?
Right. I got it. Can you Vibhu, can you type index is equal to log? No, it's login. Splunk is equal to login.
Where?
Yeah,
In
here.
this here?
Yeah, login.
You want to remove? You want me to remove?
Yeah, remove this one. Just index is equal to login. So we can say how many times you log in.
No. So we should not remove the index. Basically, we have to perform something. So I will tell you. So this is the data that gets collected from the Splunk, right? Here you have to see the pattern. If you want to search something, right? Maybe I will see whether it is whether this internal index stores. If it stores, it will get. Okay. Yeah, it is giving you the events, 18 events. Okay. Actually, we should not remove. Basically, what you asked me to do is just you search for one pattern. Got it?
That's what come in my mind,
So
you
you
know.
got,
It
yeah. Got
won't
it. So you
like
search.
host, yeah, host. It is the host is also index.
Yeah. I will come to that one. So first, right, what I meant to say, right, for every log snippet, right, Splunk will add one timestamp whenever it enters. Okay,
Yeah, but
because there is a chance like,
to interrupt you, your sound is breaking. Uh, check
okay,
your
now is it clear?
yeah, because
Now is it clear?
some kind of vibration come on your voice. Not
Okay,
you see my voice is quite clear.
yeah. Fine. I will correct. Okay, so why this time is being prefixed with every log snippet is, let us assume there are like multiple logs and each log will have different pattern, right? So here log 1 this format is something like, mm, okay, this is log 1, okay, and log 2, this pattern is something like 27th hyphen July hyphen, okay. So every application will log in
Yes.
their own patterns, right? So here, right, if I want to retrieve the data, if I have two or three logs with these different types of patterns, right, it is hard for a Splunk to retrieve the data. So what it will do, right, it will put one format and it will add a timestamp to every log snippet. Okay, so this is the system generated log which has the timestamps, and this is the Splunk added. So if you give any query, if you are having multiple search condition, multiple search options, right, then multiple logs, then Splunk will use this time rather than this time. In 99.999, right, both times will be same. Okay, it will convert to some format which will be used, which will help us to parse the logs easily. Got it?
Yeah.
And it will be having something like host name, source, and source type. Okay, these four things are called as the metadata: the time and the host and the source and the source type. Okay, these are called as the metadata. Now we will discuss like what is source and what is the source type. Source is the actual log file. It can be like Apache Tomcat, or it can be a VAS server, or it can be a any DB log. And let us assume I will put it in this way. Uh, source is something like, source is actual log. Okay, it can be like uh, where slash app app1 slash, mm, okay. So source is the actual source of the file. actual log. Okay, and source type. Source type is something like what is this log? Whether actually, as I mentioned earlier, Splunk can store anything, right? It will store the data from the web server, it will store the data from the IoT devices, it will store the data from, it can collect the data from the routers, switches, and it can collect the data from DB servers. So, or it can get the data from the CSV. So, source type is like what is the pattern, whether it is a DB server or WAS or application, or it can be like a syslog, which is an OS, or in Windows log. Okay, source type is something like what this log actually corresponds to, in which category it comes. That is the source type. Normally, people will get confused between source and source type. Is it clear? So, why we have, let us assume like in my Splunk query, if I want to fetch all the DB servers, right, then I can give my source type as DB server. Then it will pick only DB logs. Okay,
Yes,
clear?
sir. Source is the
This
log, and source type is the source where the data is generated, right?
no, it is the category. Let us assume like this is the application log. Okay, and there is one more thing called DB server. DB. Okay, it will be something like slash where slash app one slash db slash db dot log. Okay, this log source DB server source is DB, but it will fall under the DB category. This category. Okay, in that particular index, I can have multiple logs, right? This is in one project, I can have Oracle DB as well as the MySQL DB based on the functionality. So if I put my index as DB server source type, if I add Splunk UI access, it will fetch all the logs that are pertaining to this particular category source type. Got it?
Yeah.
See,
Source type is a category.
here you see here source, there are some 10 or 15 logs. Okay, source is the actual log. Okay, there is something called web server, there is something called Mongo D log, there is Splunk access log and utility log and first install. There are like metric log and health log. Now there are multiple source types basically here. Okay, in this, if I select one of the source type, it is showing only one log pertaining to that particular category. It is discarding all the 10 logs. Okay, whatever the logs that are pertaining to this particular source type, it is fetching those logs only. Got it? It is like one to many mapping. One source type can have multiple logs of same category. One source type can have 10 DB server logs. Are you clear now?
Yes,
After
source.
seeing, if I
I'm source. I'm clear. Source is the path of the data of the log. Is the
yes,
path.
yes,
And
yes,
source
yes,
type
exactly.
is the category, because in the same path there must be several type of logs. You know, SQL log Oracle log, MongoDB, or other logs.
Correct. Correct. So this is one way of simplification. Instead of mentioning the host names of each and every individual server, we can search using the source type. Or let us assume, like in the source type, if I are having 5 or 6 logs, right? I can't instead of specifying all the logs, just give this source type and add it to the filter. Then it will give you all the results. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm done for today. Tomorrow we will be discussing on the like like how to add the sample logs into this Splunk and how to parse and all those. So if you have any questions, please.
Yeah, what we will do tomorrow? The how to parse the data.
First, right, currently I'm using the internal index. What I'm currently doing, right, I'm using one index which is system generated. So tomorrow I will create one index and I will add data into it, and I will be using and I will be explaining this all the fields, and I will be explaining like how to parse.
Correct. How to parse? Yeah, that's the word. How to parse that index? Okay, index. Th
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
yeah,
Okay, Vibhu. Thank you. Good night.
yeah.
Good night.
Okay. Yeah, bye bye.